Okay, so we left off with Korak in the middle of the arena. The body had just hit the floor, as they say, and the crowd is in an uproar. They're absolutely ecstatic that what they just witnessed was so epic. And people are chanting Korak's name. And I did think of when I was stumbling how the announcer was going to introduce Korak. I thought of the perfect thing. So orcs are from the Dorji Isle, and that's to the east. So Korak is the beast from the east.
Okay.
So that would be his tagline: "The beast from the east, Korak." Right. So anyways, Korak, you're kind of taking this all in at the moment. You've got your hands up. You're just basking in this moment. But I want...
I actually reach down and grab his hair and hold the head up.
Oh, that they love that. They absolutely go nuts. While you're doing that, I want Ishtar, Dane, and Tarask to all make perception checks.
Okay.
Do not climb on that.
Don't do it.
You better not.
Perception was intuition, right?
Yep.
Okay. I was double checking to see if I can remember if I had taken any points in
Star
perception.
got 21.
Ooh, okay.
10.
Okay. Dane, or not Dane, Ishtar and Tarask. You guys both notice, Tarask, from your position up on the bleachers, something catches your eye, and over in one of the other pits, and Ishtar, something catches your ear. You hear off in the other pits, even among the crowd roaring and everything, for some reason an echo hits just right, and you're able to hear the sound of somebody screaming in another pit. Tarask, you see in the back part of another pit the handlers to one of the tigers that just got done eating one of the other gladiators before Korak's fight has just gotten maimed and destroyed by the tiger. The uproar was too much. He lost control of the tiger, and it has overpowered him. And you now both see this tiger coming out of the pit, charging towards the announcer and Korak. It looks, tigers are big, but this one looks kind of famished, like they intentionally keep it hungry so that it'll be more aggressive. And it is running full bore towards Korak and the announcer, and they don't notice it yet. And the crowd is, half of them are still cheering, the other half is kind of thing. But you two both notice this, and by the time you're able to see it, process it, and everything, it's still about maybe 100 feet away from Korak and the announcer, charging towards them.
All right, so I just heard this though, right, on my roll. Do I see it now, or?
Yeah, you heard it, and then your eyes, and then you see this thing come charging out.
All right, so I look over to Korak, and does it look like he notices it?
You are back. No, and you're still back in the pit where Korak, before he went out. You're still back in the pit, and Korak and the announcer both do not notice this.
All right, so I'm starting to see Tiger come out running at Korak. I see it's running towards them, right? All right, so
oh yeah,
I'm gonna, I guess my move action is like exit the pit into the right inside the arena, so I'm not in the middle. But then I want to try and yell, I'll yell Korak's name since I know his name.
Korak, make a perception check and see if you can hear him over the roaring crowds.
I'll
roll one for the. It's going to be more, unless you have some kind of special ability that will project your voice. Well, I guess you do.
I have the projection feat.
Girl!
Is that for playing music, or is that for anything.
Hold on, I got babies.
Babies.
I got a 12.
Okay,
He
it's
got a 7.
that is specifically for music, yeah.
Okay. All right. With Korak's 12 and his 7, neither of them are able to hear you over the roar of the crowd. If you got closer, because they're in the middle of the arena, and the arena's huge. In fact, I meant to look up how big gladiator arenas typically are, and I hadn't looked that up yet. Gladiator arena size. And I know they're pretty big. Yeah, the center of the Colosseum, the center arena was 287 feet long and 180 feet wide. So it's huge. And at this point, the tiger's about 100 feet away. You're only able to close the distance so much while you're yelling for them. So if you stick along the outside, there's a good chance they're not going to hear you. But if you get closer, there's a better chance they'll hear you.
Well, when I stopped and like yelled, was that considered like my action?
We're not in initiative yet, so
okay, so we're out of
yeah,
okay,
but I do want to shift over to Tarask and Dane, because Tarask has noticed this as well, and I want to give him a chance to act.
Okay, so yeah, pretty much as I did that, we'll switch over to Tarask. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tarask had he had kind of like hopped to his feet when Korak had won, but then when everybody else jumped up and started cheering, he sort of like calmed himself down and started grumbling, leaning over towards Dane, saying, "Oh, took him long enough. Too bad we lost our gold." And then that's when he notices this flash of movement, recognizing the speed of an animal, and instinctually he shirks his bow just at seeing an animal like that, and he's going to just let one of the arrows slip through his hand and string it. Before he fires, he'll look over to Dane and just say, looks like the wilds followed us in. Look alive."
At that point, I would look up, and at that point I would see the tiger.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, how far would we be considered from the tiger at this point? Probably, definitely. I'm guessing that we're probably way too far for me to make a move in terms of trying to take a full move action to even get close to them.
Correct. Yeah, you're way too far out. I was imagining you guys sitting along the long side, so you're not way far back. You know, you guys got some primo seats, so you're kind of in the center of, like, if it's shaped like an oval, then you're on like the right or left side, whichever you choose.
Okay.
And so that would put you about 90 feet from the center of the arena where Korak and the announcer are.
But how
it would
far?
also put you like away from the tiger. Yeah, that's like 190.
Okay.
Well, no, that's the whole width. So it wouldn't be quite that far.
Okay, so regardless, still way
Right.
too far for me to attempt to activate even a spell ability to do any damage to it.
Yeah, you're talking upwards of 150 feet away right now.
Yeah, that's more magic points than I could even think of spending right now.
At this point, well, let's see. Korak, make another perception test.
While he's doing that,
And so-
what if I were to try to make a move or some kind of action to get actually onto the arena floor?
So let me get your perception check, Korak, first.
13.
Okay. So Dane, when you know your instinct to move, and you assess the situation to get down onto the floor of the arena, it's like you're really high up.
Okay.
So they have to build the walls high enough so that the creatures they put in the arena aren't able to climb up and eat the spectators. So you're talking about a 40 to 50 foot high drop from where you're seated to get down onto the floor of the arena.
Okay, yeah, I don't think I have any points in. Yeah, I have no points in terms
Cool.
of tumbling or anything like that to where I'd be able to offset that or even add to an agility check.
Yeah, so the tiger has made its way another. I was probably, since I didn't know I wasn't 100% on the size of the arena. I'm gonna change that he was 100 feet away to he was about it would have been 90 feet away, and then he moves at a speed of, where's the speed? 7 times 5, 35 feet. He's sprinting using both actions, 70 feet. So finally, both you and the announcer notice as the tiger closes in. You're able to see it, and it's about 20 feet away from you guys at this point. And before anything else happens, I want to let Ishtar and Tarask to get their actions in before we roll initiative. You guys basically have now. Ishtar, you are on the other side now. Did you say you had stuck close to the wall?
Yes, I was. When we ended, I was still on the wall. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Korak had come out of a pit that was on the on one of the longer sides, so at the end. So kind of like everybody is seated like here, and Korak is here, and you're back here.
Okay.
So, so if you were kind of coming down and around here, I assume you're probably right about there, and you're still a good 100 feet away from Korak, and the announcer. So that would put you about 120 feet away from this tiger.
So if I want to move 60 feet, is that my whole action?
If your move is 6, then yes. If your speed is 6.
Nope, my speed's 5.
So that would mean you could move 50 feet.
Oh, all right. And Korak sees it now, though, right?
What's the range on your? Yeah, he sees it.
Okay.
What's the range on your bow? The range increment, I guess I should say.
18.
Whatever I did.
Oh,
What kind? Do you know what kind of bow it is you have?
Short bow. I think it was 12.
12.
Look that up real quick. 12.
Yeah,
So
12.
yeah, it's got a range increment of 60 feet. So if you can get within 60 feet of this thing, you won't lose any dice shooting at it.
Well, I can move 50, so I have to use pretty much my whole move to get within 60 feet. So that's what Ishtar starts doing. He takes out his bow, and he starts pretty much running towards Korak. I mean, I know.
Okay, so I asked you about your bow, but I also forgot the fact that the guards took your arrows on your way in.
That is right.
However,
I thought you snuck some arrows down in.
that was me.
That wasn't me. That was Tarask.
Ah, dang it.
I will let you grab. So the guard would have tried to stop you, but if you want to go back, you may have thought to grab a few arrows from within the pit because they have various weapons and stuff like that for gladiators to take.
Okay.
If you want to try to, if you want to roll a agility, stealth, or thievery, a thievery check for me, and see if you were able to successfully snatch a couple of arrows without the guard noticing.
I'm gonna roll.
Maybe he was. Okay, yeah, and he's gonna roll a perception check.
That look does not bode well.
20.
Yeah, he rolled a 7 on his perception check. So, roll a 1d.
Ishtar's not
roll,
too bad at stealth and thievery.
Roll 2d6, and that's how many arrows you were able to snatch.
Oh, wow.
Snatch.
9.
There you go. So you've got 9 arrows that you're able to use with you, and you begin bolting towards the tiger. Tarask. I want to go over to you. You have a action.
Teresk or
Could you
Korak?
shoot a quarterstaff out of your bow?
Tarask, because yeah, you had kind of like, you saw it. You guys had good perception checks, and you see this thing coming, and so as it's closing this distance, you're able to act again.
Okay, so how does this range work? I'm sorry, the longbow's range is 18.
Times 5
18 times
in feet.
in feet. Okay,
Yep,
so
the increments are all in
so that's 90.
5
So-
foot
Okay, and how far is the tiger from me at this moment?
Let's see. It's 20 feet from Korak, and you are 90 feet from Korak. So it's 110 feet.
Okay. Now, how much space is between me and the edge of the seats? Like, if I were to run
You're
to
right
the
up
rail.
front.
Oh, okay, I'm up front. So
Yeah, you're
there's-
there. You got front row tickets.
Okay, so basically, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the layout here. Is he coming from the opposite
Mhm.
side, or is he coming from a side, left or right?
Yeah, so if you guys are seated, so Korak's here in the middle.
Mhm.
If you guys are seated down here, the tiger was coming from this pit up here,
Right. Okay.
running straight down towards Korak. And so he's like right there, you're there. Yeah. Ishtar is kind of over here, like, Korak, no, my friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. In old, is there readying an action?
Basically, you can. I did ask Russ specifically about this, and you can hold an action to basically act anywhere else further down on the initiative list at any point.
Okay, so then I would have to know from a meta level, or maybe you can't tell me, but it was the tiger ahead of me or below me on the initiative order. Like, so if I hold it, is the tiger?
We haven't rolled initiative yet.
Oh, right. This is outside initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's.
So basically, if you don't do anything right now, you're sacrificing this. Technically, it's the ambush turn.
I was about to say,
You
yeah,
roll
we're in the
perception checks
surprise
high
round.
enough to
Yeah.
gain access to it. So.
Yeah. I don't really know what I can do at this point.
Well, the range that you have on your bow isn't a max range. It's a range increment. So every increment beyond that, 5 times 18, 50 times plus 40 is 90. So 90 feet. You would roll 1d6 less.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can still take a shot and lose only 1d6
Mhm.
for taking it.
Yeah. So then what I am going to do is with one of the 2 arrows that I snuck in, I'm going to carefully aim my bow.
Okay.
And so I would usually have 6 dice.
And this tiger looks emaciated. It looks weak. But it's still a hulking figure, and Korak is, of course, in the middle of the arena, still bleeding. So Tarask lines up a shot.
Yeah, so that's going to be an attack with 7 dice. My max is 6, but my careful aim can put me over the max. And I have the...
And you get 2,
I get
and then subtract 1, puts you to 7.
Yep.
Gotcha.
All right. Oh, I just missed the crit. Man. 6, 12, 17, 21, 23, 24, 26.
Yeah, you hit.
Okay.
So, Korak, you see this arrow come sailing from... Rory, also make an agility stealth check for me. I don't know if you have the stealth skill or not.
I have.
If not,
I
it's
do.
just an agility. Okay. Because you would be aware that, doing this would not necessarily be well received by the authorities.
So that's a 20.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, Korak, from somewhere in the crowd, you see an arrow come sailing out, and it lands on this tiger on its back.
And it does... shoot. Okay, so the damage, it's just that, right? It's the damage for the weapon plus the... Shoot, what is it plus? Plus my bows. my skill in bows. Okay, so that's going to be 10 damage.
Okay, so you actually see it hit its front shoulder, and it trips it up a little bit. It's going to make it shouldn't have a hard time making this check. What was your? Do you remember what the total attack roll was?
24.
It was 27?
24.
24. Okay. Let's see. 6, 10. It actually doesn't make it. So it stumbles a bit. Actually, you catch it right in its shoulder, and it stumbles and it rolls on the ground.
I'm sorry, the damage
kicking
was
up a-
actually 7 higher. I forgot I have the high quality bow right now, so it actually goes up a d6. And I
Nice.
completely forgot about that, so I just rolled that last one, and it was a 3, and I also get, so it's going to be a total of, it should have been 3d6 plus 4, and I did 2d6 plus 2 on accident, so that's an extra 3. Yeah, so it's a total of 5 extra damage than what I said to you. So I said 10, it's going to be 15.
Okay. Yeah, it hits the ground hard. It rolls and it gets back up and it continues to run straight towards Korak. Now is when we would roll some initiative. So the announcer, there are guards. So yeah, guys, go ahead and roll initiative. The guards from the other pits are coming running out with spears to stop this from happening.
16.
Okay.
18.
Oh, 20.
If you didn't hear, 18.
18, and
Also
then
20.
Korak 20. Also 20. What's your agility stat, Korak?
12.
And what's your agility stat?
12.
Okay. Roll 1d6, Tarask and
2.
Korak.
3.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, there we go. Because of course he is. So I got to roll for the tiger. He has, wow, a 7d6 initiative.
Wow.
Yeah, he's going to go first. Yeah. Okay. So he closes the distance, no problem with one action. And his second action, he absolutely rips the announcer in half. So he just claws this announcer. Oh my gosh, no! And the crowd actually cheers. They're not sure if this is part of the show or what's going on, but they are elated. And he is just tearing into this announcer right now. Then next up would be Korak.
Okay, Korak will attack. So is the announcer already dead?
I didn't bother rolling, but let's see.
Oh God.
I'm going to assume he's got 15 hit points and maybe 3 soak. He's wearing a leather kind of tunic, not much defense. This guy, I'm not even going to roll the attack roll. I'm just going to roll the damage. 46 plus 5.
Oh jeez. So he's already down 2 hit points.
5, 19 damage.
He's
so
dead.
yeah, he's dead.
Okay, spinning spear. So I take it he closes the distance, so he's right there. Do I?
Yeah, he's definitely within the reach of your spear.
Okay.
Because I know you have a 10-foot reach with that.
Okay, so I will. I'll be able to attack 3 times. Okay, the first one is 24, and I critted.
So it's a hit no matter what.
I critted with the 2 6s with the critical, a deadly critical.
Nice.
So want me to roll
Nice.
damage
Yeah,
now?
Yep.
Mhm.
It's just tearing into this. You're able to easily land a critical blow on its side.
Will this be
Okay.
another epic crit?
I did not It did not explode. I got 16 on the dice. I rolled 3 5s. And then 19 total on the first hit.
All right. And he's also now wounded, so when he takes 2 actions, he will take a damage. Okay, take your second attack.
16 to hit.
That one, he dodges out of the way. He steps to the side and hisses at you and snarls.
Okay, so my backhand. $21.
That also was a miss.
Wow.
Then next up is Tarask.
Yeah, so with his friend engaged, he's now 90 feet from me, I believe.
Yep.
No penalty on this.
Nope.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to sacrifice 2 attack die, and I'm going to carefully aim with my last arrow that slipped out through my fingers. Should I roll another stealth check?
After you make the shot.
Got it.
Poor Ishtar is running after his friend.
22.
That is a hit.
I can see why this is all
It's
going
a
on.
fairly
Ishtar's like,
large creature.
full time.
It'd be better if Ishtar was like a little chubby and he's breathing really hard. I'm coming for you, buddy.
Okay, so damage on that is going to be 14.
14. All right. Okay.
And my stealth check is 12, 15, 16, 19.
Yeah. Yep, you're able to fire that. No problem. So this arrow, another arrow comes sailing out of the air, and as it dodges to one side from Korak, your swing downwards, or with the backhand, an arrow comes and sticks it in the side again, and it actually pushes it back a little bit. The impact of you hear the impact of the arrow land into its chest, and it thud. You know, it hits it hard. Well placed shot. Dane, your turn.
Well, I'm no good up here, and I realize it's the high jump, so I'm going to actually
Go team.
no, actually, I'm going to try to get myself into the action. If I were to jump down, yes, I realize.
I throw the dragon egg like a Pokeball.
No.
Sorry, what?
I know that this is a 50-foot jump, so would it take both my actions to jump down, or would I get an action to jump down, and provided I make a safe check, I'd be able to take a second action to make a move towards the action?
So, jumping 50 feet. Yeah, you could scale the wall, but dropping 50 feet would certainly... I mean, the check would almost be insurmountable for you to not break a leg.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you dropped all your luck dice and you're just like, I'm jumping, but then you could still fail and just, have a broken leg.
Well, I don't want a broken leg. Scaling down would just be a standard agility check, right?
If you have anything related to climbing or something like that, then you could add that. In this case, I'm going to say it's probably
it's going to be a strength check.
Probably, honestly, for me, the way I would like to do it is both.
So
because
one would, the two.
You'd have different. No, don't combine the two. You'd have two rolls.
Okay.
kind of goes against like rules wisdom, but when I think about it, I think that's scaling a wall is a strength thing for duration, and it's an agility thing because you have to be quick and dexterous to do something like that. And
All right, then.
And failing on one of them wouldn't necessarily mean you fail at the other and you fall. It just means you know, we treat it a little differently.
Okay. My strength is a 2d6, so I'm going to burn one of my luck dice for the strength check. So I'll do that one first. Okay, that was a 10 on the strength check. The agility, 3d6. Oh God, yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to be taking a tumble. A 7 on the agility check.
I tumble for you.
Yeah, I was actually
So-
wishing I had points to tumble right now.
I tumble for you.
Okay, so Tarask, you see Dane eager to get in the action, and when he steps over the side of the wall, and he goes to find his footing, and as soon as he does, you just see him go, and he disappears. Dane, you're able to catch yourself. You don't plummet 50 feet to your death, but you do drag along the side of it, and you scrape yourself pretty good. You are wounded. So if you take 2 actions in a turn, you take 1 bleeding damage, and you presently you take 12 damage. Soak will apply because the damage is from you scraping across the side of this arena wall.
But bleed damage does not, it ignores soak, correct? So when I take, okay, so if I take 2 actions, I take 1 point of damage regardless.
Correct.
Okay. Now,
So
was that
moving
considered,
twice.
Okay, was that considered 2 actions to do what I just did?
No, that was just your first action.
Okay.
You've managed to slide down about 20 feet down.
Okay.
Would he be prone?
Too much.
What was that?
Well, he's up on. He caught himself on the wall after sliding down a little bit, so he's not technically. I mean, if he were to be attacked, yeah, he'd be pretty much helpless.
Yeah, but
You have another
tiger's
action,
far enough.
Dane, if you want to continue to.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna blow my last 2 luck. Well, no, I've got 3 luck dice left because I got that bonus one that I never used. So I'm gonna burn 2 this time on the strength check.
Okay.
Come on, I need some 6s. There's 1. 12, 13, 14, 15, 21 exploded again. 25 on the strength check. And
Okay, that will surpass the need for the agility check.
Okay.
You're able to, you catch yourself and you're like, ah, okay, and you're able to move another half of your move speed. So what's your move
move
speed?
is at 5.
So 3 times 5 is 15 feet.
Okay.
So you've got another 15 feet left to go. down.
But I do go ahead and take a point of bleed damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you do.
Well,
Thanks
what
for
was the
reminding
second
me.
action?
And next is Ishtar.
I'm coming, buddy.
So Ishtar was running.
Yeah.
So I'll take another, like a move action. So I should be within range of it now.
Yes.
Now Ishtar probably can't hit this, but technically he doesn't know that. So
It's a fairly large beast. He might be able to.
okay, 18.
Yeah, that's a hit.
That is it?
You got it.
Okay.
Yep, Korak, another arrow comes sailing by you. This one from behind.
Okay, 10 damage. That's my max damage.
Oh, very nice. and so he takes 7. Very nice indeed. So that's only your first. Oh no, you used a move action and then an attack action.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you managed to land an arrow on the other side of its chest, and it sinks in pretty deep, and it does not like that at all. Very nice shot. We're back up to the tiger's turn, and it being just critted. And then it's going to attempt to run away. So it's just going to start running away back towards the pit that it came from. There are a few other guards that are bearing down their spears they've made their way pretty close, and he's just going to start to scamper away off into the pit. He's not pursuing this any further. As hungry as he is, he's had his fill with the announcer.
Are there rules in old regarding attacks of opportunity?
Only if you have an exploit to do it. There's an exploit in one of the Eon's articles that allows you to take attacks of opportunity, but by default, no. There's no magical free hit that you get when somebody steps away from you.
Okay.
Yep.
I was thinking of that more for Croc.
Yeah, so with that, the tiger's going to... I'm going to say he's so wounded, he's probably moving about half speed, so he's going to use both of his actions to move basically his whole speed, which is 30 feet away from Korak. Korak, it's your turn if you decide to do anything further.
Korak will let... Sorry, did I cut off at the end? I think I released it. I'm just
Yeah,
going
you
to
did.
plant my spear and let it run.
Maybe put the head on top of the spear. And then
Actually,
next up is Tarask.
I really need to use my one, I think, Bloodlust feat. But I was going to drag the body back to the pit to do that, but...
Ooh. I don't know. The fervor of this crowd is crazy. You might just feel brazen enough to do it right here.
Yeah, what the heck. So...
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it got me a whole 3 hit points back. I rolled a 1 and a 2.
It's all about the style. Doesn't matter. So how do you do it? Do you like hold the head up and let the dripping blood splash in your mouth, or like what?
That's what I was planning on doing originally. I didn't expect to be attacked by a tiger from behind.
Oh, that's badass. That's so cool. Tarask, you're up.
This crowd just got one hell of a show.
Right?
He's just gonna yell out, "Get
It's
out
like,
of
how
here,
you-
you fools!"
How are you going to top this?
Then Tarask is yelling, "Dane, we're back over to you, my friend. You have a 15 feet left to go."
Okay. Mechanics question. If I were just allow myself to drop,
Mm-hmm.
would that be a straight?
That depends on your jump.
My
stat,
jump
your
is
vertical jump stat.
My vertical jump is 3. My jump distance is 10.
Okay, so 3 is 3 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 3 feet. Yeah, you're not too great at landing on your feet or jumping. Jumping isn't really your thing.
Yeah.
You're fast, but as far as strength to support jumping high or landing hard, not so much. So you are going to have to make the distance. In order to free fall, you need to be basically within 3 feet in order to not make a check that goes higher than that.
Okay.
So you're quick, but yeah, you got small ankles.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I get to blow my last luck die to make this happen. Because climbing up is going to be it's probably going to take just as much effort as anything. Yeah, my climbing.
And then when I think about it, I think, man, 3 feet is really. When I think about it, I'm like, man, 3 feet is really paltry. But then I actually think about it, and my buddy, and this is not a joke, he broke his ankle jumping off of the stairs of my deck when I was growing up. Like, it couldn't have been higher than 4 feet tall, and he jumps off of it. he landed funny and he broke his ankle. He was in a cast. It was terrible.
Okay, so here we go.
I laughed hard though.
Of course you did. 11 on the strength, so I'm probably going to have to do my agility.
Yep.
14.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you managed to make it down. What's your speed again? Half of your speed. It was 5, so 3. So yeah, you make it down. You make it.
I make it all the way down.
All the way down.
Okay. Since I see the tiger, once I get down, I see the tiger's away. I'm not taking my second action.
Okay, you get down and you're like, you're bleeding. You look up and you're like, what is Dane's reaction when he sees that him almost killing himself was for nothing?
I'm thinking. I know where I'm putting. I know where I'm doing my next bunch of training.
Egg roll. Nothing. Okay. Next up is Ishtar in the initiative.
Becker's running away at this point, though, right?
Yeah.
Is it running towards an exit, or like where it came?
Yeah,
from?
it's running back the way it came.
All right, so I'm gonna spend the rest of my movement to get where like Korik and the announcer are. Well, what's left is the announcer.
Yeah.
And I get my bow and I'll I guess ready an action. So if it turns around, I'll let an arrow loose.
Okay.
More, I guess like a guard.
All right.
Position.
So. Yeah. So
guy,
as you make your way. Yeah, you better run. Yeah, so you make your way to Korak. Dane makes his way down. Tarask yells something from the bleachers. Korak is busy tonguing the blood from the head that he picked up. And the tiger finishes his way back off into the pit, into where he came. And then we're out of initiative, and yeah, basically with no announcer out there, an official will come out and say, he'll grab the megaphone and he'll say, "That's it for today's events, folks. Please come back next time when we'll have more exciting matches for you." And people aren't listening. People are just filing out.
What does it take for me to get out of the wounded track?
Oh, that's right. 1d6 roll of a 4, 5, or 6.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll that.
Got a 4.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to patch yourself up. Stop the bleeding pretty easily. It was a big scrape along your side, so maybe you take some of your garb and wrap it around your arm and stop that bleeding.
Okay.
And once the crowd has shuffled out, you guys will wind up all meeting back at not the pit that Korak was in, but at the outside of it, kind of where Ishtar met with that hooded figure. And it's there that you meet up with Herndon, and he brings Korak a large sum of money. Korak, I want you to roll. What's your reputation?
My reputation is 4, so that's 2d6.
Okay. Give yourself 2 points permanent of reputation. And that'll bump that up to a 3d6. And roll your 3d6 and multiply it by 10.
Okay.
And then each Ishtar roll 1d6 to add to this and multiply that by 10. And then since you guys gambled, I want you each to roll 3d6 and multiply that by 5.
All right, so Ishtar
That would be Tarask and Dane.
So times 40.
Nice. 12, so 60.
I got 90.
Okay. And Tarask, what did you get?
I got 45.
Okay, make sure you guys mark that down and everything. That was the total haul, except for Korak, you double yours. So you got 180 gold from your match that Herondon will give you, and he keeps whatever his agreed upon percentage of it was. And of course, this is after it's been liquidated down from like all of the coppers and the silver and stuff like that. You know, this was the final amount. And yeah, you made out pretty good in the arena. So let's see here.
Okay, the drinks are me tonight, guys.
Yes, and yeah, so you're able to basically go anywhere or do anything that you want at this point. I'm going to show you a map of Nala that I haven't shown you guys yet. All right, so in the red area on the left of the map, you'll see the arena there. That should be pretty obvious. You can click on it to zoom in and see that there. That red area there, that is the trade district that you guys are in the middle of. The Rise and Grind lunchroom is you'll see there's like two more open areas closer to the center of Nala there near the right edge of the red area. The building in between those two gaps is the Rise and Grind lunchroom. And then the yellow center, that is the central district. There's lots of shops, there's lots of taverns, inns, so on and so forth. The entrance that you guys came in on is in between the upper blue and the right-hand upper cyan districts. That road coming in there on the northeast is the road you came in on. That's also where the skeleton, that big skeleton, made his way. And so all of those buildings along that road, a lot of them are destroyed, and there's a big kind of path of destruction going up through there right now. A lot of people are still cleaning that up and all that sort of thing. Down in the bottom, you see a big building that isn't highlighted. That is Elverstone Keep. That's the castle that, all the important things happen. The maroon-colored areas above the castle are the guard housing and barracks and so on. And we'll go over the other districts later, or if they become important. But the cyan area is the arcane district where you met with Daniel back in there. But you guys currently find yourselves, where do you find yourselves currently?
I suggest the demon hamster.
For some drinking.
I am up for that. I need to restore my health somehow, and strong drink is the best way to do that.
I will let you all know that I will meet up with you all in the near future. I have some final business to attend to with Daniel, and then I will, after I deal with that, I will rejoin you.
More drink for me.
Okay, Ishtar, Tarask, and Korak all make their way to the Demon Hamster. Much merrymaking is had, so much indeed, that you will restore 1d6 in health, just for the sheer, what's the word I'm looking for? Energy of the situation going on in the tavern. It's crazy. It brings your spirits up so much that you feel better.
On the way to the tavern, Ishtar would have brought out his loot and like probably like almost screaming at this point, like a tune about the fight.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't
Yeah,
stop
yeah,
as
yeah.
it gets in the tavern.
Yeah, and yes, you guys just basically merry make the rest of the afternoon. We'll get back to that. Daniel, you make your way over to or Dane, rather. You make your way over to the Arcane District. It takes you about 20 to 30 minutes to walk over there. And yes, you're able to head back to Daniel's bookbinding shop, and he is there currently working on a book. And he hears you come in, and he sees you, and he says, "What has happened?"
Well, Korak won his battle in a very impressive fashion. However, that is not what I come to speak to you about. I was wanting to inquire about some family. Seems that you have some abilities beyond my own, and I was hoping you would be able to answer my queries.
He'll slowly close the book he's working on. You hear the crackle of the leather binding, fresh leather binding, as he closes it, and he'll look up at you and he'll say, "What is it you hope to learn?"
I just need verification that they are alive and well.
I didn't ask you what you need to know. I asked you what you hope to learn.
That's also what I hope to learn. Though you seem to think that I hope to learn something else.
He says, "I sense that giving you this information will deter you from what needs to be done."
On the contrary, if anything, it will motivate me to complete my tasks and complete my quest. Because then I know I'll have something to return to.
To save some time, he'll motion you to bring you down into the... He says, "We do not have long, but what I want to say to you cannot be spoken here." And he'll bring you back down into the area, into his room and everything. And
the one we were at before?
And, yeah, the secret room.
Okay.
And he just kind of puts an out to lunch sign up, and he'll sit you down and he'll say, "The white flame forsook the other dragons. Do you know why?"
I'm guessing that would be a history check. A logic history check.
It's more because okay. So the situation is that he's asking you a question. It's a bit of a rhetorical question because he knows that all you know about the Order of the White Flame is that they worship the white dragon and they forsook worshiping any of the other dragons, because that was all he told you. So he kind of knows the answer already. So he's making a bit more of a point here.
Okay, so no,
and he'll continue. He'll continue, and he'll say, "It's because they saw the other colored dragons as wholly and utterly inferior to their mother, the white dragon. As such, members of the order forbade the members from receiving gifts or wisdom or anything from those lesser dragons. and instead we petition the white dragon for power and guidance.
Okay.
And it was only because we forsook these other dragons that the white dragon accepted our plea. It would have been much easier to fall in line with the others and choose a dragon whose color we preferred. However, we didn't choose the easy path. He says, "Are you willing to forsake what you hold closest?"
Wow. It is clear that I have more questions than I do answers.
Indeed. And he'll stand up and he'll say, "I have to get back to my work. We will talk more when next we meet. For now you must rest, gather your thoughts, and meditate on these things."
I do my traditional bow, and I join the rest of the party at the drunken hamster, I believe it was.
The demon hamster.
Demon hamster. Well, for them, it's probably now the drunken hamster. So there you go. And
right now it's the hamster.
It's
It's the demon hamster.
So really quick before we wrap up your time at the demon hamster, I want Ishtar to roll a performance check, and that's going to determine kind of how much. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Roll your performance. Yeah, charisma performance.
$21.
Okay, roll 1d6 and multiply that by 10, and that's how much gold you're able to rake in for the evening.
Nice.
Just
oh, it's the instrument next one. Okay. Oh. Okay, so 30.
okay. Yes, but between tips and money you find on the floor, like the place is just crazy. Tarask and Korak, was there anything you were hoping to accomplish at the Demon Hamster before you retire for the evening?
A hangover the next day.
Very nice. Tarask?
When I
Was Dane talking? Or...
Nope, waiting for Tarask.
Okay. Yeah. Tarask drank, but as usual, everything is measured with him. So he drank slowly over the entire evening, and he wakes up feeling a bit weak in the knees, but not too the worse for the wear.
Great. So before you actually go to bed and all that sort of thing, you guys are still staying at the Rise and Grind lunchroom, correct?
Correct.
That will be your...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we go.
So you'll all meet up there. As you are all in your rooms and what have you...
Is Francois there?
He is.
Oh, yes.
He is.
Can I...
He is.
I imagine when we come back for the evening, Ishtar is kind of stumbling, and as we walk into the Rise and Grind, he's just like singing out, "Francois, oh Francois."
Francois and Gigi. He probably tries to do a drunken hug to him. I love you.
Yes, and they handle you like true professionals. They are completely used to this kind of thing. Korak, you notice that Gigi has kind of taken to you. She is a younger human woman, but not taken to you in the sense that she's attracted to you, but more she can sense the respect that there's something that she respects about you more in this moment than there was before. And maybe it was because you had apologized to her for various things, prior. You're not 100% sure, but she just seems more filled with gratitude towards you, and she's speaking a little bit more now. Very timid. So before you guys retire for the night, Ishtar, you are in your room.
Say she's timid and Ishtar's walking in drunk. He's saying that he loves her.
Right, and again, yeah, she's kind of used to this sort of thing. I don't imagine Ishtar as being very assertive, though. You're being, I mean, unless you say otherwise, I'm assuming Ishtar is being
the drunk
playful in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I said to Francois and Gigi both of them, like, "Oh, I love you both."
Right. Right. You guys are such good servants. Oh, servants sound so demeaning. You're my best friends.
No,
They serve me.
out loud, I go, "Tarask, here's the humans."
Yeah, they're all over this place.
This place is crawling with them. So before you fall asleep and everything, Ishtar, you hear a little dum 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 on your door.
I thought we're all in separate rooms.
You are.
We are, okay. The doors have locks.
Yes.
All right, so I'll like crack it open as much as it can go with the lock still on. Oh wait, I'm
Yeah, as
thinking
you
it's more
clumsily.
like a chain lock, or is it like?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so then I'll
Yeah,
creak it
you.
open.
And your breath comes out of the and you hear from the other side, but then you instantly notice that it is Kenya, the high elf woman from before. And
Oh, okay. All right, no, I was trying to remember. I was trying to remember who Kenya was, but now I know. Okay.
yes, and she says, Ishtar?
Kind of like looks. It's obvious it's taking him a little while to realize this. Kenya, is that you?
She says, yeah, and when you get a better look at her, it's hard to see her through this, but you can see that she is garbed in a
recognize it's her,
cloak
though?
with the hood up.
So
yeah, you're able
I
to
did
recognize her.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and if you open the door, you'll notice that she is wearing a cloak with the hood up and is apparently trying to hide herself. It doesn't want to draw too much attention to herself. And
No, once I notice
she
who it is,
looks.
I'll let her in the room.
Yeah. She doesn't come in the room. She stays out of the room, and
Okay.
she looks kind of both ways down the hallway, and she says, I have a little bit of information for you if you're able to remember. She looks at you as you stumble around.
I grab. Let's see what's in my backpack.
I'll write it down.
I don't have anything labeled. I'm just any type of paper or anything.
She, as you fumble for things, she rolls her eyes and she'll pull out a note that she has already written because she wasn't sure if she was going to get you or not, and she just hands you the note and says, read this. And she'll hesitate for a moment as though to wait for you to say something to her, and then if you don't, she'll start to walk away.
Well, when she says read this, I would look at it like at a quick glance, like.
It's in an envelope. You'd have to open it.
Oh, okay. So she says read this. I'll. So I'll give her. I know who she is, so I'll give her 10 gold.
She as you fumble for your gold and everything, you're like, oh well, thanks. You don't even know what she's giving you. She smiles, gives a soft smile, and she'll put her hand on your arm, and she'll say, you don't need to pay me. Get sober, and then maybe we can meet again sometime. And she'll begin
Who
to
else
make her
went?
way down the hallway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she take the money or
No, she didn't.
no? She didn't. Okay. All right. So I'll open the envelope. Actually, no. I'll close the door, lock it, and then I'll open it.
Yeah. When you open up the envelope, in your blurry-eyed vision, you are able to make out that what it says, in so many words, is that the person that you met with outside of the pits was not an overseer of the gambling at the arenas. They
Oh,
were attempting to look like one, but this was a ruse. And she is concerned about who that person was, and she thinks it might have been a former gladiator who Korak had fought with in the past,
and I was the only one who
based
saw,
on the information that she found out.
and I was the only one who saw the person, right?
You did, but you never got to look at the face.
Sorry. How Ishtar is drunk, so he probably wouldn't find this. He'd probably be like, ah. But I'm like, do I want to go over and bother them? No.
Okay.
So I'll hold the envelope.
So yeah. Okay. Yeah, you pass out. You all pass out. The night is uneventful,
It's not like-
and or
Actually, wanted to kind of cover what Dane's going to do because he's not going to get much sleep tonight. After having one drink, and getting some good food in him, he would spend a good amount of the evening in meditation and contemplation regarding what Daniel said, and trying to decide if he should once again write his beloved, and or if what he had seen previously was actually real.
okay. Let me roll something really quick. Egg roll.
Okay.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me! All right, so
Never good when a GM smiles.
Dane. Dane, as you are meditating, your bag begins to wiggle. Unfortunately, the dice don't lie. I had 2 dice left on this countdown timer, and they were both 6s, my friend. Your bag is wiggling.
At that point, I break from my reverie, and
This is the middle of the night.
very, very carefully open the bag just enough to be able to peek in and see what is going on.
Yeah, and as you peek in, you see, the egg placed in there in your pack. And kind of like the scene from Jurassic Park when that little velociraptor comes out of the egg and it's like trying to push the egg open to get out and whatever. You see this cute little baby blue lizard with stubs on its back and a serpentine tail behind it, making its way out of the egg. And then when it does, it locks eyes with you, and it just kind of stares at you for a moment, and then it will cuddle back into its shell and fall asleep for the night. It just kind of curls around and goes to sleep.
Well, safe to say I know what I'm doing tomorrow morning. And I go back to bed. I go to bed at that point, and needless to say, I probably have a pretty fitful night of sleep. I probably don't do much.
You hear
in
little
terms of
coos
regenerating points.
and rawr, and little just weird sounds coming from your bag. It's really difficult to fall asleep knowing what you have in your bag.
Actually,
However,
before I was going to say, just before I go to sleep, I summon one of the two people who have been helping, who have been kind of our people.
Cole and Valentina.
Yes, sorry, out of characters forgetting their names, and ask them to. I essentially write some very quick notes, and say, please essentially ask them to give these to each person, slip them under their doors, whatever they got to do to make sure they see these messages first thing in the morning to come and meet me in my room.
Okay. When you summon them, or one of them, it doesn't matter which one. We'll say it was Valentina. She says, we have another note that has come since you all have been back. Would you like me to hold on to that note as well? Would you like me to? I was planning on having the note at the front desk for you when you all woke up. It's addressed to all of you. So do you want me to leave it with one of your notes, or would you like me to hang on to it?
Actually, if you would please bring it to me, and I will address it with my compatriots, when they meet with me in the morning.
Okay, she will go and fetch the note that she's talking about, and it is a very royally adorned envelope with a seal on the back of it. You know, those big wax seals and all, the whole ordeal. And she'll bring that to you.
Okay, after she leaves, I will go ahead and open it to examine it, and then that way I'll be prepared to talk to them about it in the morning.
Okay, when you open it, just a second, I've got a picture of it.
Awesome.
This is what's inside.
It was addressed to all of us, and this is a federal offense.
Official theatrical release. James Dean proved he was the bad boy the world 88, and we don't mean to his planet.
Exactly. I don't know what that was, but it was perfect. It was the bad boy of 88 or something.
It was, for some reason, my time hop decided to pop up for a second there. Presence is your question.
Yes, it says Dane, Tarask, Korak, and Ishtar. And if you can imagine it being read in the voice of Lord Files, the man whom you've spoke with after defeating the big skeleton, your presence is hereby requested in Elverstone Keep tomorrow morning. Arrive no later than the market bell, and display this note to the guard. They will escort you further. Lord Files of Haywood.
Was that
Do
the guy who
we
was casting
know-
spells with us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Do we know approximately what time is the market bell?
Yeah, Korak would be the most familiar, and Ishtar would be the most familiar with what time that is. Basically, it's to us it'd be like 9 o'clock. So
Okay.
prior to that, there are some restaurants and stuff like that, diners open, and then the market bell rings, and that's when shit gets crazy. And yeah. So
Okay.
yes, the
Better set a
so
wake
you
up
go
call.
to sleep. Yep, exactly. So I'm assuming you guys go to sleep and you wake back up. Dane, you're going to... What are you doing in the morning, Dane? You seem to have an idea of what you're doing in the morning.
Well, let's just say whatever plans I initially had just went out the window with knowing that we need to be at this location. Essentially, I'm going to... I was going to have them meet me in my room, at which point I was going to say, we have two things, we have two issues at hand. The first is the note, and I would show them the note. And then at that point, after everyone's read the note, I would say, but we have a even more pressing issue. At which point I would set down my backpack, open it up enough to where they could see. And I want, at this point, does our little blue friend peek its head out?
You know he's in there because he's been wiggling around in your bag,
Right.
and whatever, but he's not readily visible. So when you set down your bag, all they can see is like a part of the shell. It doesn't look any different to them. You're like,
Okay.
guys, look, we've got a situation, and you set it down.
Tarask is rolling his eyes about
I-
the meeting with the
Yes.
files.
Yes, we know you have an egg. Thank you.
The egg hatched. I look at them with a very stern, serious look, saying, "The egg is hatched."
Ishtar like fully awakes and goes, "Oh shit!"
And when you say oh shit, and Korak, you're looking down there, you're like, yeah, it's an egg. You indeed see the shell right there move, and then it kind of flops off to the side, and then you see this little baby blue lizard with a cracker ration in its mouth. And Dane, you notice this thing's been chewing through basically everything in your pack. It's been nomming nom 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 on anything edible it can find inside your bag. And the thing that strikes you the most, it actually isn't even that it's eating everything in your bag, it's that those stubs that were on its back have actually grown already. They've not much, but they are visibly larger, and you see ridges kind of forming on the outside of those nubs. And yeah, it locks eyes with you, Korak, and it just kind of Oh, actually, I found a very, very good picture of what I imagined it looking like. So let me just view image, copy image, paste, upload.
Tarask is going
That
to be...
plus some stubs on the back.
It's kind of cute. Tarask is going to be shaking his head in disbelief and just kind of... He's going to mumble off to this. He's like, what did you do, Dane? Did you sit on it? How does this happen? how does... If they hatch from
Don't
eggs,
look at
why
me,
aren't there
you're the
hundreds of...
raver.
And that's kind of what's flustering him. This doesn't seem realistic. He's flabbergasted.
They're not going to invent Hatchimals for another 1,000 years.
Did you rub it till the heart turned pink? I mean, how did you do this?
All I did was leave it in the bag.
Ishtar kind of just goes to that.
Clark will reach down to pet it. How does it react?
It depends on how gentle you intend on being. It's a rather frail looking little thing.
Well, then I would be very gentle.
Okay. It will kind of it will let you do that, and it will respond like a cat does when it enjoys being pet. It likes that.
Does it purr?
No. No, it's strangely silent. There's a few, like, it'll yawn, and you can hear it yawn and everything like that, but other than that, it makes no other grumbles or purrs.
So what do we do with it while we go to the castle?
What do we do with it in general? This thing is
We
not going
protect
to.
it.
This thing is not going to fit in a bag
Again.
forever.
Smuggle it in the castle.
Again, a very stern look on my face. You hear me say, "We protect it at all costs."
Well, that's...
And as you guys are having this conversation, like, what do we do? What do we do? And Dane's like, we are going to protect this. It will, it scurries up his stomach, up and up his back, and it comes to rest on its shoulder, on Dane's shoulder, and it stays there, and its tail kind of, you know, it's on Dane's shoulder, and it'll kind of furl underneath some of his clothing.
Is there anyone else in this room?
Just us.
Right now, no. It's just you guys.
I mean, we're tasked to protect it, and we should, but it won't fit in that bag for...
Ishtar kind of is like, like looking at it like, It's like I've sang many songs about your kind. Never seen one of you in person. And then it goes, oh.
How much time?
All good songs.
How much time do we have until? How much time do we have until Market Bell at this point?
You would reckon, I don't know, probably an hour.
Oh boy, that's not enough time. I don't think that's.
No, Market Bell's pretty early.
Yeah, it's not enough time to get to Daniel and then get to where we need to be.
That's true. How long would the walk be to get to the...
As you guys are discussing this, how long's the walk? Where do we keep this thing and everything? It will, you notice it's gone. Dane, you still feel it on your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
You still feel it there, but you don't see it.
Okay. I don't think
and then you feel it walk across the back of your neck, and and then it stands on your other shoulder, and then it reappears, looking at Tarask.
Ishtar looks
in the eyes.
Puppy has right now, like, huh?
I look over and go, I notice it on my other shoulder. I say, I don't think we have to worry about hiding it. I try to get it to look me and I say, can you do that again? See if it actually understands
leaps
me.
over and jumps onto Tarask's shoulder like a praying mantis, and starts to climb up onto it to get closer into Tarask's face.
Tarask is not super sweet on this little guy. He kind of is like trying to direct the dragon onto his hand, like the way you would a bug that you want to move to a shelf somewhere, like kind of going like this.
Yeah, and you know how when you are like pushing a really ambitious puppy away, and they're still licking at your face, and you hear their tongue slap their nose because they missed your face, but you're pushing him away. That same kind of thing happens. It's trying to lick your face, and you're like, and it's like, and you're just moving it off to the side, and everything, and
eventually he'll just grimace and look at Dane and be like, "Can you take your pet?"
It is not my pet, but I will see what I can do. And I approach Tarask, and I try the same thing. I put my hand out to see if it will climb up my arm and back to my shoulder.
Yes, it does. And when it reaches your shoulder, it circles around a few times like a dog does when it's trying to like mat down its area. And then while it's turning, it'll zoop, go invisible again and remain there on your shoulder.
Okay. I say to it, I hope you can stay this way for quite a while. You will bring a lot of attention, unneeded attention, if you make yourself visible at the wrong time.
At this point, what I'm going to do is the camera is going to kind of shift out from your guys' situation going on in this room, and it's going to kind of fade into a room in the castle in Elverstone Keep. And the camera zooms past the main throne room. And I'll describe the main throne room when you guys actually get there. But we find ourselves in the middle of what would appear to be a royal meeting place. So there's a table, and there are very nice looking wooden chairs. And you see draped on the back of each of these chairs is a cloak. And each cloak bears the different symbol of each different piece of land that each lord and lady rules over. And they are as follows. You have one that is a bulky-looking red watchtower that's set on a white background with 2 hammers crossing in front of it. You have the next one is a large, deep green pine tree set on a maroon background with wisps of wind blowing leaves across. The next is a simple orange mace set on a black background. The next one on the other side of the table now is a rising orange sun set on a navy blue background with yellow rays of sunlight bursting from the center of the sun, stretching to the edges of the banner. The next one is one you've seen before. It's familiar to you. It was on the outside of the cart, and it is a stone hand grasping a purple orb set on a gray background. And then the last one you see is one that is a picture of a king knighting a warrior set on a light yellow background. And voices come into earshot of us. And you see a man. Let me see. I meant to pull up there. So as you guys are at the Rise and Grind lunchroom, and you're discussing what's going on, I'm going to assume you're going to do your best keeping the dragon hidden. It understands that it needs to be hidden. It will stow itself away in Dane's backpack. It will not stay on your shoulder. It will stow itself away there. And you figure with enough food and encouragement, it will stay there for as long as it needs to. And a royal guard will come. No, actually, no, they told you to meet them there at the castle. Yes. So yes, you guys will make your way to the castle. You'll show the note to the guard there, actually, and they will.
Before
go ahead.
we left, I wanted to show the note more to Korak and tell him, like, the guy that gave me the pendant to help, and I showed this to Korak now. Yeah, I guess he was an overseer. So, and wait, I was told what he was a former gladiator, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then I say, I think one of your.
That's the speculation. Yeah.
We think it may be one of your former friends or enemies that actually helped you out there, Korak.
Okay. Would this ring a bell for Korak, an enemy that he, obviously,
friend or enemy?
Either he,
enemy
spared his life.
Yeah. You're really not. You can't think of any reason why any former opponent of yours would have helped you in any way, shape, or form. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why would they do that? So for the time being, you're just kind of.
We just know it wasn't.
Well, that's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting piece of information. Okay.
And Korak is going to roll his endurance too for the morning.
While you do that and you mark it down and all that sort of thing. Okay, cool. Yes, you guys will begin to be, you'll make your way over to the castle and everything, Elverstone Keep. And we go back to this room, and you see a high elf man standing up, and he pounds his fist on the table, and he says, "Never before have we seen such a brazen attack upon our great city. No doubt this is the work of Naladri." And then you see a large ogre standing there, and he says, "She gains more power every day. Soon we will stand no chance." And all of the other lords and ladies, they all nod in agreement. And then a lady speaks up. She's a Sylvan elf, a little bit shorter, dark black hair, pointy ears, and the like. And she says, "Surely we must find out why she has returned and how she is gaining power so rapidly. There is no telling where Lord Gaiman and Lady Incanth are. Perhaps they've already fallen." And then chatter begins to fill the room. And then at the head of the table, we see Lord Colehelm, and he raises his hand to suggest silence. And he's adorned almost like a king. However, he wears no crown, and he is a human. And again, he raises his hand and he said, "It is true. The messengers we have sent to Lord Gaiman and Lady Incanth have not returned. This is troubling. Lord Files," and then we see the Lord Files, who you've met before. "You've just recently arrived. Under siege, no less. When were you attacked, and how did you arrive when Lady Incanth, whose province is equally distant from here, has not? Was the journey across Isteran not perilous?" And Lord Files responds, and he says, "It indeed was perilous. I am especially grateful for my knights and archers. They fended off many unspeakable horrors on our way here. As for the most harrowing parts of the journey, I was able to cloak our presence so as not to draw attention. As for the lady, I cannot speak for her condition or why she is unable to attend. Perhaps her city is in peril, or perhaps the messengers never made it to her." And then chatter begins to fill the room once more. And Lord Colehelm speaks. He says, "Our first order of business should be to commission a party to seek out the reason for Lord Gaiman and Lady Incanth's absence." As he's saying this, a guard will approach Lord Files and whisper something into his ear. And then we go back to Lord Colehelm. He says, "Lord Cortazar," he speaks to the barbarian, "you have many strong warriors and scouts in your region. Perhaps you can send a party and to locate and determine the fate of Lady Incanth." And then, as he finishes that sentence, you guys are escorted into the cloakroom. And that's where we'll stop for tonight.